All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. The Giants make a move, unbelievably, on January the 5th. Farhan has struck, and we'll talk a little bit about it next. Of course, we're brought to you by Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. I love the brisket. The brisket chili is amazing. Go say hi to Damon and Mary and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And this video is also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. I'm loving Underdog Fantasy. Check that link in the description. Use the promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and they will match you up to your first $100. Well, the Giants struck out on Shohei Ohtani. They struck out on Yoshinobu Yamamoto. They didn't get either guy. And they were sitting here after New Year's going, what are they going? I'm sitting here going, what are they going to do? Well, today they agreed to trade outfielder Mitch Haniger and starting pitcher Anthony Desclafani to Seattle for Robbie Ray, who's a left-handed pitcher who won the 2021 American League Cy Young Award. And it gives the Giants an extra roster spot. It sheds two big salaries that they didn't want to pay, and it gives them a chance at a high upside guy in the second half of the year. Now, Robbie Ray's 32. He's coming off of Tommy John surgery. He's not going to pitch until in 2024 until probably mid-July, maybe late July. And he's still owed $73 million over the last 3 years of his contract. Though he will have a chance to opt out after 2024, but I can tell you as sure as I'm sitting here, there's no chance in hell that he is going to opt out of that deal because he's got big money coming his way. He made one start last year before injuring himself. In 2022, his last full season, he had a 3.71 ERA across 189 innings. I really love this move for the Giants for a lot of reasons. We'll get into it here. But Haniger was the Giants, a giant free agent acquisition last year. And, the Giants signed him to a 3-year, $43.5 million deal. And he's had a long injury history. And once again, his injury issues cropped up again last season. He had an oblique injury. He had a forearm injury. And he was limited to 61 games. He spent the first 6 seasons of his career in Seattle, so it's a homecoming of sorts for Haniger. So I'm sure that probably, that he's going to a place that, where there's some credibility there as far as what he's done in the past. Desclafani is entering the last year of a 3-year, $36 million contract, which was another ill-advised contract issued by Farhan Zaidi. He had an ankle injury in 2021 that knocked him out for nearly the entire 2022 campaign, and then a flexor strain cut his season short in 2023. So Desclafani and Haniger are making a combined $29 million in 2024. Robbie Ray is going to make $23 million. The Giants are also sending cash to the Mariners in the deal. By the way, Farhan has made amazing number of deals with Seattle. It has to be like the 6th or 7th deal. But for the Giants, this just clears up a very crowded outfield situation. Michael Conforto opted in. So they got Conforto, they have Yaz, they got Slater. They just signed Jung-Hoo Lee. They've got Luis Matos. They've got Elliot Ramos. They've got Wade Meckler. They've got, Tyler Fitzgerald who can play in the outfield a little bit. And they've got more guys coming up through the system. Grant McCray. So whenever Robbie Ray can get back on the mound, he's going to be a part of the Giants starting rotation. And to me, he's a far better pitcher than Desclafani. Alex Cobb is also expected to miss the first half of the year. So he underwent off-season hip surgery. So what do the Giants have in the rotation? They don't have much, right? They've got Logan Webb and they've got Kyle Harrison. Tristan Beck and Keaton Wynn are, young pitchers. And they have Carson Wisenhunt coming up through the minor leagues. There's a lot of talk that they want to re-sign Sean Manaea, who at the end of the year wanted to bolt, but now that Bob Melvin has been hired, maybe they will make a play to re-sign Manaea, and then use him as a starter more than just some jack of all trades pitcher last year. The Giants are also, according to Jim Bowden, interested in Shota Imanaga, a left-handed pitcher from Japan. They're also one of the teams in on Blake Snell, though I don't really believe the Giants should go that direction. It's just going to cost a lot of money for a lot of years. Marcus Stroman's still out there. Jordan Montgomery is still out there. There's also free agent hitters out there like Matt Chapman and Cody Bellinger that could be had. But overall, I love this move for the Giants. I think this is a great move. I really do. Why? Because, I mean, Robbie Ray, once upon a time, was, a Cy Young Award winner. And I really think he's quite a bit better than Desclafani. Obviously, there's a risk here because he's owed significant money and he's coming off a major surgery. But he's only 32. And, he won the Cy Young. It wasn't like 10 years ago. He won the Cy Young in 2021. Parlayed that into a 5-year, $115 million deal with the Mariners. And he's got the opt-out, but he's not going to opt out. I mean, I was looking at the money. Desclafani is owed $12 million for this year. And then Haniger's owed $17 million for this year. So the Giants are trading $29 million of contracts that they're lucky anybody gave them anything for that. I mean, $29 million for Mitch Haniger and Anthony Desclafani. And those are two really bad contracts. Haniger's also under contract in 2025 for $15.5 million. So they're moving off of Haniger and Desclafani, and they're adding a player in Robbie Ray who's not old. His first year with Seattle was really strong. He made 32 starts. He had a 3.71 ERA, struck out over 27% of the batters he faced, only walked hitters at an 8% clip. Then last year he had one appearance and then got shut down. Eventually he had elbow surgery in May to repair his flexor tendon and reconstruct his ulnar collateral ligament in that left elbow. And so he sat out the rest of the year. So for the Giants, they've got other guys. I mean, they got Webb and they've got, Cobb eventually if he comes back, and they've got now Robbie Ray coming back. So it's almost like the Giants, whatever they can do in the first half of the year, they're going to get Cobb and Ray back in their rotation in the second half. So it would almost be like, ready-made acquisitions at the deadline. You also have Ross Stripling. We'll see about the future of Manaea or Alex Wood. There's Kyle Harrison. There's Carson Wisenhunt. There's some other young arms, Keaton Wynn, Tristan Beck. Those guys are there as well. They could still go sign another free agent or two on the mound. So I like it. I like the deal. I mean, Haniger is just I think Haniger's damaged goods. I think Haniger's almost guaranteed to spend at least half the year on the DL every year going forward. I'd be shocked if he ever gets healthy. He's just a walking wounded guy. And, the deal they signed him to was terrible. Absolutely terrible. 3 years, $43.5 million for Haniger. Amazing. I mean, he had the left oblique strain, then he fractured his right forearm, then he had a lower back strain, and he hit 209 with a 266 on base. He only played 61 games. The Giants are loaded in the outfield. They've got Jung-Hoo Lee in center. They've got Yaz. Conforto opted in. And you got other guys. I mean, they're talking about Bellinger. They've got young guys coming up through their system. You got Matos. You got Ramos. I mean, they're just, to me, it's a no-brainer for the Giants. I guess the Giants are going to be paying some of Haniger and Desclafani's money in this first year, so it winds up being kind of a zero change. I mean, Desclafani and Haniger made combined $29 million. Ray only makes $23 million. So on paper, there was going to be a $6 million gain for the Giants as far as their 2024 salaries. But that actually is not going to be the case because the Giants are going to pay some of that money to make it a zero deal. So like $6 million or roughly $6 million will be going from the Giants to the Mariners in this deal. But I like it. I mean, it's a risk. What if Robbie Ray never comes back? Then you're on the hook for, $23 million next year, $20 and $31 million in the final 2 years. So there's that risk. But he probably will come back and pitch decently. He's better than Desclafani. Desclafani was just clogging. I mean, you had two guys who were making a lot of money in Desclafani and Haniger, just clogging the roster. Now you create roster room. It may help you go sign a free agent or two. You can play younger players. You get those guys off your books, and you may get, if Robbie Ray goes back to being the pitcher that he was before the injury, you've got a really good number 2 starter. Could be your ace. I mean, Robbie Ray was, as I said, Cy Young Award winner. He was really, really good. It wasn't that long ago. So, I think this is a great move. I really do. I mean, the Mariners are giving away the upside of a late season return for Robbie Ray, and they're getting a pitcher in Desclafani who can help them more in April and May. The Giants take 2 players who are getting squeezed for playing time and turn them into a really solid upside pitcher with potential to be elite. So I love this move. I think this is a great move. Finally, we see a creative move. Now it was born out of Farhan signing 2 really bad free agent contracts for Desclafani and Haniger. But at this point, that doesn't matter. All that matters is they pivoted. They got out from underneath these deals. They added a player that really could be a very strong piece of their rotation if he bounces back. They also created some flexibility in their outfield for other players and in the rotation for younger pitchers. So I love it. I love it. Farhan, way to go. Way to go, Farhan. Nice move. We'll see how it all works out, but I love it. I give this deal my full endorsement, and I'm excited that the Giants, if they can hang in April and May, and who knows, they got a number of moves to make between now and opening day. But if they can hang until July, they've got 2 veteran pitchers, a righty in Cobb and a lefty in Ray, who will be able to be added to their rotation in the middle of the summer. So that should give the team a little shot in the arm. So, maybe if they can find some pitcher out of spring training in their system that can give them a little bit of a surprise, or if they can add a pitcher or 2 that are maybe a little bit lower cost guys, or maybe even a major free agent. I mean, if they could add Blake Snell, I don't think they're going the Snell route. I think there's just too many bidders. I think they'll get outbid. But I'm not even, Snell's coming off a Cy Young Award winner, Cy Young Award season. He's a great pitcher. There's no question about it. It's just durability. He's never pitched 200 innings. So we'll see what the rotation looks like going forward, but I like this move. I absolutely do. There was no world where Desclafani was going to be a desired part of their rotation. And there was no world where Haniger was going to be a regular in their lineup. So you signed 2 bad deals. You got out from underneath them for a pitcher who may wind up being a top end of the rotation type starter. In and of itself, that alone makes this a great deal. All right. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.